5 steps to wholesaling the tired landlord list. The tired landlord list is one of the best wholesaling real estate lists you can possibly get, and it costs absolutely $0 to pull. The problem is the tired landlord list is one of the most mysterious lists out there when it comes to wholesaling real estate and virtual wholesaling real estate. This is because there's a lot of definitions for tired landlords, a lot of softwares that have it, there's a lot of free services, there's government lists. There's so many different people telling you what a tired landlord list is, and some of those people are dead wrong. So in today's video, what I really want to do is explain what tired landlords are, why you should pull them, and most importantly, how you can pull them in 5 easy steps. What's up guys? My name is Zach Ginn, and I've wholesaled over 1,000 real estate wholesaling deals, and I'm here to bring the knowledge of wholesaling right to your fingertips absolutely for free. So the question is, what is a tired landlord list? A tired landlord list is basically a list of somebody that owns a rental property, and for any circumstance, they're gonna just wanna sell it. They're tired of the property, they wanna get rid of it, and they just don't wanna deal with it. The honest truth is there's a lot of ways to pull type of sellers like this. And these type of motivated sellers are actually one of the most profitable and best motivated lists. Guys, as a landlord who owns a lot of rental properties, I can tell you, if I had to manage for myself, I would go absolutely bonkers. I would go insane. Dealing with motivated sellers that are destroying my own property I worked hard buying, them complaining about the toilet being clogged, constant repair issues every single month, paying the property insurance and tax bill, constantly stressing when no one doesn't pay the rent for the month. These are all huge issues that a lot of landlords are just sick of, and they don't want to deal with it. Most people aren't entrepreneurs, and I can tell you most people that buy rental properties for the passive income are grossly mistaken. Owning a rental property, if you do not have a manager and you do it yourself, is a full-time job. Why do you think I pay property managers a full-time salary and they work a lot of hours full-time to just manage my properties? Because it's a lot of work, it's a full-time job. And that's not the sexy thing a lot of these YouTube channels talk about when it comes to owning rental properties. And that's the thing you need to understand. Because it's such a headache, a lot of people get into it and they just want to get out of it. One really bad tenant can destroy the whole landlord experience for you. In the past 2 to 3 years, when people have eviction moratoriums and they won't let you kick your tenants out for not paying, all these laws coming out, this really opened a lot of eyes. So this list for the past 2 to 3 years has really been an eye-opening list for me, and it's really given me a lot of profits. Because I'm in Florida, which is an extremely landlord-friendly state, there's still a lot of problematic people because, heck, I'm in Florida. Everyone's crazy here. So the definition of a tired landlord is somebody that owns a rental property and because of any circumstance, they want to sell it. The best way I can explain it is by telling you an example of a huge deal I did. There's a deal in a vlog I did about a year and a half ago. I made about a $25,000 assignment fee on a tired landlord deal. Now this is an extreme example, but this is a really good one that's gonna hammer home on what a true tired landlord deal is. This landlord owned a rental property and was getting rent in it, and everything was pretty good. It was a boyfriend and girlfriend living in the property. And you guys probably know how this thing's gonna end up. Boyfriend cheats on the girlfriend, which is a very bad thing. So girlfriend, who gets very upset and wants to retaliate. When boyfriend goes to work, girlfriend takes a sledgehammer and literally puts 100 holes in the walls to punish the boyfriend. But who do you think really got the punishment here? The landlord, not the boyfriend, because the boyfriend's like, this is a rental property, I don't care. And the landlord's like, you guys have to pay for it. Guess what boyfriend does? He can't afford it. Girlfriend's super mad, she's moving out. He just walks away from the property and stops paying it. And now this landlord kept the security deposit, but cost a lot more than $2,000 to fix all the holes in the wall. And there were literally hundreds of holes in the wall. Like the boyfriend was gone for like 8 hours. She spent probably 6 hours just putting holes in the wall. And this landlord was just sick of it. They did not want to deal with this thing anymore. They just wanted a cash offer, just get rid of the property. And we made a pretty good offer. We made about $25,000 in the assignment fee. And honestly, the repairs, roughly 10 to 12 grand, and they renovated the whole property and flipped it with the cash buyer did. So it was a win-win for everybody. But that's an extreme example of a tired landlord lead. And I really wish I could tell you this was like an extreme unique circumstance, but it really isn't. There's a lot of problems out here. And as long as people in general have issues in their life, which in the United States of America, we all are gonna have, there's gonna be tired landlord leads. And this is why I love the tired landlord list. It's a list that's constantly new every single month because People have problems and tenants destroy properties. Now, there are 3 specific ways to pull a tired landlord list. And there's truly 3 definitions of tired landlord lists. The biggest one, the most easiest one I found is just the evictions list. This is basically a list of all the people that have court filings to evict their tenants out of the property. Just think about it. If they're evicting them because they destroyed the house or there's non-payment on the property, the landlord's probably sick of it and tired and doesn't even want to pay a lawyer for this. That's number 1. Number 2 here, these are going to be the list pulling services, tired landlord properties. When you use a service like listrei.com, PropStream, or ZachData.com, batch leads, they're going to have a tired landlord feature. Now, a lot of these services, they're all over the board with what they put a definition of tired landlords. I've seen some software say they've owned it for 10 years and they have some equity and maybe they just want to get rid of it. Some people are like, maybe they're a little older and they've owned it for at least 5 years. And then the third one are the for rent. Pretty simple. If somebody has a vacant property, maybe they don't want to rent it out anymore. Maybe they evicted somebody or they just ended a lease, and maybe this is the time for the landlord to just have a clean slate and just get rid of the property. Let me show you how to pull these lists the right way and step by step how you can wholesale these type of deals right now. Step 1, identify what type of tired landlord list you want to pull. If you want to pull the evictions list, it's free. If you want to do it a little easier, kind of using a PropStream or batch leads for this, or do you want to go out here and just cold call the for rents? That's another free one. Honestly, you're going to pull different type of tired landlords in every single one. The evictions list is probably going to have the most motivation, but it's probably the hardest list to get. Still, if you have no money, you can get it probably today by just going to the evictions court, at the clerk of the court, searching public records online. There's a lot of ways to go out here and do it. On top of that, you can just pull the list on PropStream batch leads, or just go to Zillow for the for rents and start calling today. I just want you guys to understand that most of these sellers do not want to sell the property. If I have 100 evictions that I'm going to call, probably 4 or 5 are interested in selling the property. I could probably pull a deal off of hope 1 or 2 of them. So just understand, it's a numbers game. You cannot pull 5 evictions and feel like you're going to get a wholesaling deal from it. It's a numbers game, but if you keep doing the numbers more and more, you're going to get big deals. Remember guys, these are $20, $30, $40, even $50,000 wholesaling deals. It's worth it to put the time in. Number 2, we're going to pull the list. I would prefer you pull every single type of one that I mentioned, but really it's dependent on your budget. Step number 3, we're going to go skip trace it and basically find the seller's phone number. You can either cold call, SMS text blast. I would probably not drive for dollars or reverse drive for dollars, because if you put a sticky note on their house, it's probably a nicer house. They're not going to want to sell that one, but they're going to want to sell the rental property that they have. So I would probably prefer, if you call them, say, hey, you are the owner of this rental property address and are you looking to sell it? Very simple, very easy. Just go to freewholesaling.com, my free real estate wholesaling course, and I'll show you exactly step-by-step the best cold calling and SMS text blasting scripts for tired landlords. And so that brings us to step 4, which is basically cold calling or texting with the scripts that I have, just marketing out to these sellers. Another really good way I find a lot of these deals is just by sending direct mail out, so you can do that too, don't have to skip trace. And if you do want to learn how to do direct mail the right way, just go to mailingmastery.com. It's the nation's largest direct mail course because it's the best and heck, it's free. Step 5 is pretty simple. We meet them at the property, we close the seller, get the property under contract. From there, sell to a cash buyer. But I really want you guys to understand, just because it's currently a rental property today, doesn't mean it has to be sold to somebody that's going to want to rent it out. Remember, your cash buyers are most likely going to buy the property for 2 reasons. Number 1, because they want to flip the property. That's where the majority of cash buyers are. They want to buy it, flip it for a profit, make a ton of money. Number 2, they want to buy it and rent it out. Now for me, remember, I buy a lot of properties from wholesalers. I like renting them out if the cash flow is good for me, but for a lot of these, I just like flipping them myself. So when you're talking to your motivated seller on one of these tired landlord lists, it's going to be slightly different than wholesaling a regular property. You're actually going to want to go out here and ask these 5 specific special questions for a tired landlord that you usually don't ask. Question number 1, hey, Mr. Seller, how much is this property currently renting for? Your cash buyer is definitely going to ask you. And you can do cash flow comps. I'll kind of break down exactly how to do it at freewholesaling.com so you know how that works. Number 2, how long have you owned this property for? That's a good way to gauge how tired they are as a tired landlord. Number 3, is there a lease on the property? And if so, for how long? Remember, if the property has a lease on it, it's going to be a lot more difficult to get the tenant out of there. So if they signed a lease like a month ago for a full year, it's going to be a lot more difficult to wholesale that deal because the tenant's going to have to be in place, which means you can only bring it to a landlord buyer that has to keep the tenant in there for a year. On top of that, I'd probably ask how long the tenant's actually been inside the property. I've had tenants that's been in a property I'm wholesaling for 15 years, 10 years, and 2 months. And remember, there's some of these tired landlord properties where a family member's living there basically for free. They're still technically tenants, and you still have to evict them if they do not want to move out. Question number 4, sometimes the tired landlord's gonna ask you this: can the tenant stay in the property if you buy it? Now this is a tricky question because you can't guarantee it because you are not the end buyer, but explain, I don't know if the tenant can stay or not. We're gonna have to look at the property and see what my partner has to say. Maybe we have to get them out because we have to renovate the whole property and then get somebody that's gonna rent it out for the most amount of money possible, or we're gonna flip the property. I can't give you a definitive answer. When my partner comes by the property and looks at it, I could probably give you an answer by then. And number 5, most importantly, they're gonna ask you, Zach, I have this huge problem with this property. This tenant is not paying and they're refusing, they're squatters, all these bad things. You can actually offer to buy the property, you and your partner, with the bad tenant in place. Now remember, you're gonna have to probably get a 10, 15, even 20,000 extra discount on the property, but you could still buy a property with a tenant still in place because your cash buyer is going to have to evict them themselves. And to evict a tenant, it's not gonna cost too much money, maybe 2 or 3 grand if it gets really ugly and nasty, but you can still do it. There is some risk. This is why I'm telling you to get a $20,000 extra discount on the property. Give that $10,000 discount to the cash buyer, give the $5,000 for you, and just leave some extra wiggle room because the cash might want extra money for legal fees in evicting the tenant. This will help you solve a problem that most realtors could never. And if you want to learn more exactly how to do this, just go to my free real estate wholesaling course, freewholesaling.com. Those are the questions to ask. That's my step-by-step today, how to wholesale tired landlord properties. And most importantly, I just wanted to break down how to wholesale tired landlords today to eliminate your excuse on why you are not pulling this list. So go out here, pull this list. It's free. You can do it virtually and you can help these landlords out. Go out here, make cash offers and make the world a better place. This is Zach Ginn signing out. If you got any value from this video, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, go to freewholesaling.com, and I'll see you guys soon. Have a blessed one.